we want to share with you. You're going to hear a bit more from me soon, but I thought I'd quickly introduce myself and then pass over to Lynn. Ko wae au, ko hikarangi te maunga, ko waiputa awa, ko hene rupi te marae, ko Ngāti Porou me Ngāti Pākehā te iwi. Oku iwi, ko Becca Fraser tōku ingoa, no reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Yeah, I'm Bex. I whakapapa up to the east coast of the North Island. I'm Ngāti Porou, but I was born and raised down in the south in the Catlins. I now live in Christchurch, and I work for STOP in the prevention team, and it's been my pleasure and privilege to work on this project. So I've had a project manager role most recently, but in the prevention team with Lynn. Yeah, and I just want to say thank you for your time and attention today. And I will hand over to Lynn now.
Kia ora, Bex. Tēnā koutou katoa, ko puka kiwiriki te mawanga, ko pahurihuri te mawana, no tamaki makota aho, e tuku ake ki papakura, engari e noko ana aho ki o tatahi a nainei, ko Lynn Jensen, tuka ingoa, tēnā koutou katoa. Tēnā koe Belinda, kia ora Claire, thank you so much for the invitation to join you for Kai and Kōrero for your first 2025 lunchtime session. It's a great privilege to be here, and welcome to everyone who has joined us today too. As Beck says, just taking your time out of the day to tune in to our kōrero and hear a little bit about the mahi that we've been doing on this very exciting project that we did go live with in 2024. So today, Bex and I are just going to give like a brief introductory kind of, I guess, session and an overview of Press Pause, share a little bit about the background behind it, and take you on a journey with us. So welcome. My name is Lynn. I'm the Prevention Education lead for the STOP services. I've been involved with STOP for over 20 years and in different roles, clinical roles there, but have had the privilege in the last 8 years to be able to really develop and grow the prevention education space. And what's exciting about this project is that our prevention focus has been mostly with tamariki, with our babes from 3 to 4 at preschool and kindy, all the way through to 12 years old, 13 years old, up to year 8. So what's exciting is that we've had the opportunity through the funding of Oranga Tamariki to be able to develop what we think is going to be a resource, a toolkit, a website that's really going to help extend people's understanding and confidence to be able to lean into more of a rangatahi adolescent space around concerning sexualised behaviour, and they have a better understanding of that, because we've realised that we can't do this on our own. This is a shift which we've seen, I think, in the last 10 years, particularly of rangatahi navigating pretty complex digital world, and how adults can assist them, get alongside them to support them to being safe digital citizens and to thriving in their relationships safely. So I'm going to hand over to Beck shortly, who's been the project manager for Press Pause. Before I do, just an awareness, like this is our everyday mahi. We talk about concerning and harmful sexualised behaviour at STOP and alongside our wider sector as well. This is our everyday kōrero and conversation, but it's not everyone's, and we do know that there's a lot of emotion and responses and reactions that come to the surface for both professionals, for families, for whānau, for many people. So just looking after yourself today, and just aware of the content that we're going to be sharing. We won't be deep diving today, but do just notice your own responses and reactions, and to follow up with that if you need to, by just taking some time out or following up with a colleague in the next day or two. I do just want to acknowledge Dr. Brendan Anstis, who is the STOP Services CE, who is joining us today, and also Nikki Fryer, who is our Clinical Quality Manager, who is in the background. Both of them, welcome and thank you for your support. I know you're both incredibly excited about press pause and the reach that we're going to be able to provide across the community. So welcome, and any other colleagues that are joining us today as well. If I can just give you a very brief overview of STOP. As you said, Belinda, the mahi of STOP started back in 1988, so that's 37 odd years of specialist work in this space. And I do just want to acknowledge all of the clinicians, the leaders, the previous CEs who have contributed into developing and evolving this mahi. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's a great pleasure to be involved with being able to make a difference. And we work very closely in our wider sector alongside particularly WellStop and SAFE, who are our partner organisations in the North Island, and work very closely in terms of being able to offer the best possible quality services that we can for all of our clients and families and whānau. STOP is, as I said, we're based in Christchurch here. We look after all of Te Waipounamu. And our goal and our vision, I guess, in terms of what helps us to turn up to work every day is to make a difference in wanting to work towards a community free of sexual harm. That has been the vision and the goal from the beginning, and it's something that kind of keeps us motivated and energized to keep doing that work. Imagine a community free of sexual harm. And having a community that is safe. So hei hapori wātia tai tokai is our mission and our goal. Just a very brief background to this project. I've acknowledged, I guess, the support that Oranga Tamariki has provided in creating the funding for us to be able to create such a resource. And we fully thank them and support for the initiatives that they have provided and continue to provide for us to be able to extend the work that we do in the community. And we just also want to acknowledge the wider sector for all of you in different roles that you do on the ground floor, going into families' homes, working with whānau, for all your professionals, kaimahi, social workers, and educators that make a difference, particularly for those who are working alongside rangatahi. That's that collaborative and collective strength and working together that we know makes a difference. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to you, Bex, who is going to give us a bit of a walkthrough press pause, and then we're going to come back together towards the end. If you do have any comments or questions, do please pop those into the chat, and I know Claire's going to keep an eye out for those comments. If we've got perhaps a wee bit of time at the end for any Q&A, we'll come back to those questions at that point. But over to you, Bex, to hear about press pause.
Amazing. Thanks, Lynn. I'm going to try and cover quite a lot of content that's on the site today. I'm going to show you a few videos. So I'm just going to crack right into it. Hopefully I'm not talking too quickly, but we're open to questions at the end. We'd love to hear from you and your thoughts and ideas. So we've just talked a little bit about the whakapapa of this project. What we know is a bit of a gap in the community is around adults in the community feeling like they are equipped and supported to be able to speak with rangatahi about concerning sexualised behaviour. So, I'm just going to get that right. From the outset, we felt it was really important to define the scope of this project and our goals, and that was very much about equipping adults in positions of responsibility, our IPAWS, it's a bit of a clunky acronym, but that's what we've run with, to confidently and carefully have conversations with the rangatahi about concerning sexualised behaviour, or you'll hear CSB a bit today. We didn't want to just give them information about what CSB looks like. We really wanted to support the how of journeying with rangatahi who have gotten things a bit wrong, and trying to encourage adults and equip adults to walk alongside them well. From the outset, we also really spent some time defining who our audience was, who these IPAW are, and this is what we had an advisory group, which I'll come to shortly, but they told us pretty much anybody who has rangatahi in their lives needs to know about responding effectively to CSB. So we've got school staff, pastoral staff, teachers, parents, extended whānau, health professionals, secondary schools in general. Any adult who rubs shoulders with rangatahi is likely to encounter an opportunity to respond well to this kind of behaviour. Oh, my clicker is not quite working on. Let me fix this. I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge this project didn't happen in isolation here at STOP. We really did want to try and include experts and community members who also worked with rangatahi. So we just want to take a moment to acknowledge this advisory rōpū. So you'll notice that quite a lot of them are counsellors from high schools here in Christchurch. We have some private practitioners, some social workers, we have community educators, and yeah, some youth development program representatives as well. We also had representation from clinicians who work with those who've been impacted by sexual harm. We also wanted to make sure that this resource had a balance of acknowledging the harm that is and the impact for those who've been harmed. So that's a bit of our advisory rōpū. They very much helped us identify the gaps and very much helped us walk a line of equipping and supporting, but not asking adults in the community to do things that are beyond their remit or beyond their scope or role. And they were instrumental in helping us shape the content to keep it ethical. I'm just going to play, I wasn't sure when I'd play this, but I thought, let's just jump right in. We're going to play a 2-minute video of, it's a bit of a showcase promotional video of the website, and it will give a rundown, and then we'll come back and look at things in more detail. I'm hopeful that the sound is good and hopefully not too loud. So this is our showcase video. You'll also get a link to this that you can share with whānau colleagues, anybody in your life who you think might benefit from understanding Press Pause more. So here it is.
Press Pause is a digital resource that supports your response to rangatahi displaying concerning sexual behaviour. Use Press Pause to grow your confidence in working with rangatahi by understanding common behaviours, learning to recognise harm, and using tools to help you respond effectively. While the term concerning sexual behaviour includes a wide range of topics, we've tackled 6 key areas. These are boundaries, online behaviour, pornography, sexualised language, sexualised images, and unwanted sexual touch. These 6 house other smaller subtopics too. Each topic has 3 sections: understand, recognise, and respond. These sections help you build out your knowledge and form your response. They are full of building blocks that compile advice, resources, tools, scenarios, and research to help you. We've also used a traffic light framework to help you understand each topic. We think of concerning sexual behaviour as the orange light, where something's not right and needs a pause for reflection and change. We want to guide rangatahi towards the green light, where safe and mana-enhancing behaviour exists. Occasionally, behaviour may escalate to the red light, where your response requires more action and support. While the information on Press Pause is comprehensive, it's not a diagnostic tool or personalised clinical advice. Our aim is to equip you with information and tools to work with each individual, rather than give a one-size-fits-all answer. If you need more support or have questions, get in touch.
There you go. So that's a bit of a showcase that gives you a bit of a flyover of the website itself. And we just wanted to take some time to look at some of the features of the site. I guess one of the first things you'll notice is it's extremely orange. It's bright. My face is lit up on the screen. And it was very intentional that we went with this orange colour. It was on purpose because we are targeting behaviours that we would say sit in the orange zone. They're not green, they're not red, where the top end of behaviours would typically warrant a referral to services like Stop, Well Stop or Safe Network. They sit somewhere in the concerning area, and so orange felt like a good colour choice. We also went with the name Press Pause as a bit of a on words. One of our previous CE who had cleverly thought of this name. We have a service sector partner who works with victims of sexual harm called START. We're called Stop. So we felt like the pause in the middle was a nice connection. Start, stop, pause. And that sort of also reflects what we're asking rangatahi to do, is to pause, take a moment, think, reflect, talk to someone and make a good decision. And we're really wanting to reduce the risk of escalation into the red. So those are some of our very amazing design choices. But yeah, very bright, very orange, and hopefully captures the attention as well. Oh, clicker, there we go. You will have heard in the video that we have chosen 6 topics to cover. This was quite a tricky thing for us to nail down. We spent a lot of time reviewing research, surveys that had been done with high school students, clinical stories, and working with clinicians' experiences to work out the themes. And we wanted to try and cover the main topics and group them as effectively as we could. And so we felt that the behaviours broadly fell into these 6 topics. We know that these aren't exhaustive. Behaviours change with time and culture, of course, and digital development. But these are the 6 topics. And we, if you get time to sort of click on each one, you'll see that they are sort of categorised quite neatly that way. There is some crossover, of course, but particularly between the likes of sexualised images and pornography and online behaviour, those 3, there is some overlap. But for now, that's what we've gone with to break it down and make it digestible. I wanted to talk a little bit about just some of the illustration choices and just some of the challenges of doing projects like this and with a topic of this nature. Sexual harm isn't, we don't immediately have people putting their hands up to be the face of that. So we worked with our designers to produce some illustrations, and that gave us the ability to communicate content in ways that I guess sparked curiosity, kept it fresh and fun, but still spoke to the topic without it feeling too heavy or intimidating. And we've grown to like our hero images. They are here covering each of the topics. Each picture goes with one of the topics. I think my personal favourite is probably Botticelli's Venus, or the pornography one. There she is coming out of her shell with a bit of a New Zealand influence in the Pahutakawa and 4-5 flowers. We structured the website quite deliberately in 3 sections. So the 6 topics, and then for each topic, we have an understand the topic and the sub-themes within that topic. Then we have a separate page that's about recognising when behaviours related to that topic might sit within the green or the orange and or the red. So that's kind of helping you work out and determine the level of harm and when to be worried. So that page is quite important, the recognise page. The respond page, super important as well. We're giving you tips and tricks and tools and conversation starters and things to think about to create safety and to respond and get a conversation going and help move our rangatahi towards positive change.
And Bex, if I could just jump in there, I think that respond page is probably something that we are most excited about. So many kaimahi, and there's so much research and knowledge out there about pornography and sexualised images and the impact that has on rangatahi and their relationships, both online and face-to-face. But Press Pause, we were wanting, I guess, to provide some resources for adults to be able to lean into these conversations with rangatahi, and I think that's such an exciting part of what the website offers. So,
absolutely. We might talk about that a little bit more as well. But just to give you an example of an understand page, so this is at the top of the Understand page for pornography. So we've got these key themes or subtopics that you can click on, and it helps you understand and define what we mean by that term, for example, sextortion. And we're also trying to steer people towards understanding what possible drivers might be. So we haven't got rangatahi who are just being naughty or overtly sexual for no reason at all. We want you to be looking at potential or possible reasons underneath the behaviour, and then also just giving you a bit more of an idea of the impacts that might fall out of the behaviour. The next, just reiterating what Lynn was talking about when we the recognised page and the indicators for concern is a page where, again, we actually break it down for a topic. So for pornography, we list some pornography behaviours that we might consider to be green or orange or red, and where you might be more or less concerned. And we also have these questions which because we know that these behaviours they sometimes fluctuate between green and orange or orange and red. And so we've provided some questions that you might want to ask yourself related to each topic, where it might go, looked like it was green, but I'm a wee bit concerned. I've done this a number of times before, or, it seemed like there was a bit of an imbalance of power, and that might push it up into an orange area where you might be a bit more concerned. So we have this page for each of the topics as well. The next section or the next page, so understand, recognise and then respond. The responding page kicks off with acknowledging that safety is first and foremost the thing we want to establish for yourself, for the rangatahi that you're working with, for those who have been impacted by the sexual behaviour, and for the whānau as well. So we have some things that you can consider how to create safety now. And then a little bit further down the track, after you've maybe addressed the behaviour, checking in and things you can do to promote safety later on as well. In the responding page 2, we start off with some tools and tips around just managing yourself. It can be such a difficult thing, having to even embark on a conversation with a young person about sexualised behaviour, and particularly behaviour that you're worried that they might have gone into an area that was concerning or harmful. So we need to be calm. We're promoting, we're trying to stay connected, be open-minded and curious. We want to have a bit of compassion. These ideas, we want you to just take the time to share amongst your colleagues and whānau, and lean into those areas before you start responding. So there's tips on the website about that as well. And then we have a large section that is around, I guess, inviting conversation. So we've created lots of different, we've actually layered these. I think it's probably good for me to point this out. We've layered the conversation themes into 3 areas. So the first one is inviting conversation. That's just about maybe you asking some nice open-ended questions, being curious, offering empathy and a bit of playfulness to get a conversation going. So it's a very high level, maybe just calling attention to the behaviour. The second layer is this section here, which you'll see is inviting reflection. They've established rapport, but now we actually want you to ask some questions that might prompt rangatahi to reflect on their behaviour. And just, we're not asking, we've tried very hard to create questions that don't put adults in awkward positions of asking particularly sensitive questions, but just more reflective ones where rangatahi can ask themselves and hopefully have a chance to reflect on their behaviour. And then the last layer is around inviting change. So you might reach a point with a young person where they've acknowledged, yeah, I think I've got that wrong, and that's not really in line with my values or beliefs, and maybe I need to change my attitude here. And just sort of steering them into an area of hopes for the future. What are your dreams and aspirations? What kind of person do you want to be? What kind of ethics do you want to live with? And sort of directing them in a positive direction. So those are the 3 layers of conversation that we hope will really help people structure and lead in, and then invite reflection and lead to change. There's also a section on moving forward. So there might be things that you've identified in those conversations that a young person might need to actually work on. They might need to do some more education around consent or the legalities of sexting and having images of people under a certain age, or the Digital Communications Act. So you might identify areas there and want to take that opportunity to move them forward as well. So there's some resources there. Sorry, I'm really just conscious of the time. I want to zoom through, but I also wanted to point out that we've created 12 videos for this website. And we've created 2 videos for each topic, one on the understanding the topic and one on responding. These videos you can share from the website. You can send them to whānau, you can send them to colleagues, you can use them in clinical sessions. You can, I guess, everything on this website we've created so that it's simple and direct enough that it can be helpful for any adult wanting to do well with rangatahi. So I'm just going to quickly play this one. This is on understanding pornography. Some simple messaging in there that we hope comes across well.
Understanding pornography. Our culture is saturated with porn. Within a couple of clicks, rangatahi can be immersed in a sexually violent world with degrading, risky, and even illegal behaviour on show. Rangatahi are naturally curious about porn, but are also vulnerable to its messages. They're using it as an educator, but porn fails to model consensual sex and respectful relationships. We can help them unpack porn's messages to work out what's healthy and what's not. This helps avoid recreating those not-so-good relationship narratives in real life. Read on to find out more. Understanding.
Sorry. So those videos are very short, to the point, but they might be a good conversation starter in sessions, or you could even use them with rangatahi themselves and see what they think about it. But certainly we've tried to cover, we've produced 2 videos per topic, and they are certainly able to be used in any way you see fit. The other thing that we have created that we also want to leave you with today is a copy of, or a printable PDF. We have a digital one that you can click on if you're sending it via email, that you can go directly to the website. But this is just a means of sharing the resource, sharing amongst your service, your colleagues, your community. And so you'll hopefully be able to have a copy of this and a digital version as well that has the website embedded. So this, again, just sort of a bit of a flyover of the site. Oh, thank you, Claire. Claire's popped it in the chat. A flyover of the website, what we cover, our traffic light framework, and where you can go if you're super concerned or not super concerned. If you've got any concerns, we really do welcome your phone call, because that's probably one of the key messages we want you to understand from today as well, is that when you're unsure, please call us, because we want to ensure that you're feeling comfortable and headed in the right direction. So that resource is there, able to be shared. On the website, we also have a contact and directory. This, you'll see the three services. So we're Stop, we cover the South Island. Safe Network is the Upper North Island, and Stop is the Lower North Island. So these are the 3 services if you're concerned behaviour has tipped over from orange to red, or you're unsure. Any one of these services are able to be called in your region, and we really want to give you good advice around that. So please don't hesitate to call us. We also have a directory with lots of other services for responding to victims' needs, families in crisis, or a variety of lines and services across them all too. If you do get a chance to have a look at that directory and your service isn't on there and you think it should be, we would love to add you. So again, we would just welcome an email or a phone call, and we can pop your service on there and get it popped onto the website. Sorry, there's a midgie flying around in my face. We've had a plant infestation. Yeah, so that's probably all for me. That was a really big, just quick flyover of the website, and we've got a few minutes left to kind of have a bit of a chat, Lynn. Would you like to?
Yeah, kia ora, Bex. I think, from today, it's an invitation to go on the website and just have a play and have a look at the content. There's a lot of content. And our hope and our invitation is for you to take that content and to adapt that. The rangatahi that you're working with, the families and whānau that you're working with, their special needs, how their brain works. And so this is not one size fits all. This is general content and themes that we're hoping people will be able to be creative and adapt to fit with working, with the people that you're working with. So, I'm just reminded from many conversations with rangatahi, both at a professional level, but I also think with extended friends and family that I know, who often will say, if only I had someone to talk with me about this when I was an adolescent. A lot of the research suggests, particularly through the classification office and messages from Dame Sue Bagshaw, is that that rangatahi, that adolescents have parents and caregivers and grandparents and caregivers are not often the first people that our adolescents go to ask these questions, as much as we would love that they do. And I think that parents and caregivers, we need to step into this space, sometimes as awkward as it can be, and hence this website, to be able to encourage our coaches, our guidance counsellors, our deans, our teachers, our kaimahi, our social workers, to be reminded that sometimes you are the safe person, the safe adult that perhaps rangatahi want to talk about these big issues with. And the website's not to create you as specialists in this area. We know that you're not the police, you're not the psychologists, you're not the specialist stop clinicians, you're not the evidential interviewers. So it's very important that this is not what the website is intended for. It's intended to offer confidence and to help adults feel equipped to have conversations that are really, really valuable for young people to get alongside and to stay in your lane and to know where your limits are, to then be able to walk alongside rangatahi and their families and whānau to reach out for specialist support when it does cross that line. And as Beck said, we're only a phone call away. We'd have sometimes 15 to 20 phone calls a week from social services or from schools, just wanting to run past some behaviour to check out whether this kind of fits into how concerning this should be. So it's another hopefully really, valuable resource that's going to help you in your mahi. So on that note, Claire, I don't know whether there's been any questions that have come through on the chat, or whether anyone would like to take the opportunity to comment or to ask a question. If we don't get through all of those questions today, as Beck said, please email us here at Stop, or give us a call if you'd like any follow-up. Because I guess for us as a service, what we're wanting to kind of get a bit of a sense of is what's next, and where to from here. How can we bring this content and this website alive? Because we all know we can read frameworks, we can read theories, we can read therapeutic approaches, and we can read content. But what's most important is to be able to show up in the moment, face to face with rangatahi. And so that's an ongoing journey for all of us in our professional journey to kind of connect and engage. So we would be very open to looking at offering social services some ongoing webinars to take a bit more of a deeper dive into the subjects, but we'll be open to hearing that feedback from you all as to what will be helpful. So Claire, maybe I can hand over to you in terms of, are there any questions that have come through or any comments to take us to as we close off?
Lynn. We do have one pātai that's come up. Are you sharing this resource with schools, or is this something that local networks can support?
we would love this to be shared with schools. And so because it's just been released kind of like in the latter part of 2024, our hope at STOP is for us to connect as we are here with as many people working alongside Rangatahi. Ministry of Education, we've just recently met with them also, and that's certainly our next steps to spread the link as far and as wide as we can, so people at least have access to it. And as you know, it's live and up and running. So please, everyone who's joined us today, feel free to pass on the link to any contacts you have.
And that was, I guess, one of the reasons we made that little promotional video, because sometimes somebody can get a link for a website, but it's not always immediately obvious how to get the best out of it. So we hope that little promotional video helps people quickly understand how they can use it and where it might be useful, as well as that PDF. It can be printed off, it can be put in waiting areas, be part of information packs, or it can sit as a digital thing that can be shared as well via email. So yeah, but exactly what Lynn said, share it will. That would be wonderful. Any other questions? I can't see any other questions.
No other questions coming through at this stage, and certainly if you think of anything in the next few minutes as we're wrapping up the session, just chuck them in the chat and I'll make sure that they get to Bex and Lynn after the session. But awesome. I just want to say a massive thank you, Bex and Lynn, not only for coming along with such a rich session that was obviously very engaging for a number of our members that are already working in this area, but also just to see so many of our members coming through to the Kai and Kōrero at the start of the year. Thank you for delivering our first one. And also for giving us a really lovely exploration, not only into the Press Pause website itself, but the consideration of the architecture that went on to actually get this launched. So massive thank you to both of you for being our inaugural Kai and Kōrero presenters. And thank you for everybody who gave their time to come to this session today. As I mentioned, the recording and the resource materials, as well as anything else that Lynn and Bex have shown you today, will be on our website resource library after this session, and you'll be able to access it there, as will kai mahi that weren't able to turn up today. Also, I just wanted to mention that our next session of Kai and Kōrero, these happen every month, is relevant to this area too. We're luckily been able to get Emma Powell, the Chief Executive of Te Puna Aonui, to come along to give us a real hands-on session about what the revised second Te Aorere Kura action plan looks like, and what this could mean for us. And I really do want to acknowledge too our gratitude to many of those of you probably on this call today who were part of the original development of Te Aorere Kura. So that will be a great session next month as well, and there'll be more information coming out about that. You will, as you exit the Kai and Kōrero today, hopefully it works, have a little survey that pops up just so we get an idea of whether these sessions are working for you, and would love you to just make one click to give us your feedback on that. Thank you. So now I would like to move us, as Lynn mentioned earlier, move us out of this space and back into the spaces of our ongoing worlds of mahi and back into our whānau. And I'd like to do that with karakia. So before I do that, just once again, a thanks to Lynn and Bex, and also for Nikki and Brendan for helping to tautoko them today, and for all of you for coming along. I really look forward to seeing you again on a Kai and Kōrero, and please keep in touch with us too if there's any ideas that you have for what you would like to see in this Kai and Kōrero space.
Thank you.
Kia ora, Claire.
Close us with karakia. Ka whakaerea te tapu, kia wātia ai te ara, kia tūruki whakataha ai, kia tūruki whakataha ai. haumie, huie, tai kie. Go well, everyone. See you again. Ka kite anō.